Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft webinar. Today is Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. My name is Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft, and our topic for today is Leveraging Excel Reports Part 2. We did Part 1 a couple weeks ago, where we learned how to build an Excel report using one data source. Today, we're going to expand our skills a bit and learn how to incorporate two data sources into an Excel report. So with that, we'll get started. What we're going to build today is a sales quota versus actual sales report. So we will be using data from the sales module. We also will be using data from a custom module called Sales Quota. And we'll go basically through the same process we went through last week, where you build your template, the foundation of it, adding your data sources. You download the template so that you can edit it, modify it, modify it. Once you're done, you upload the template and then you're able to run your report. And the way this report will work is whenever you go back to either the sales module and add additional sales that fit within the filter we create, or you make changes in the sales quota module, then the next time you run the report, all the values will be updated. So with that, we're going to get started here. So I'm in my ClaritySoft. And a couple of things, we're going to work with 2019 sales just because I have a complete year. And all of you have to remember this is a demo database. So when you're looking at the sales numbers in here, they're pretty poor, but don't worry about that. That's not why you're here. You're here to learn techniques. So don't worry about numbers so much. And I have a filter right here. It says this month. I've created a filter for my order date is 2019. Okay, so that gives me my amount. And what's nice about that is then I can see what my total value is down here. Okay. The other thing that I added to my sale record, because I'm going to use this in the report, is I added a custom field for month. And so the order date is in December, and I have a drop down of the months here so that you can assign the proper month to match the order date month. And this just makes it easier for what we're going to do. So that's one preparation that I did in the sales module. Then the other thing that I decided to do is a lot of times you want to have sales quotas for your people, but where in the world do you create it so that you can update it? And what I decided that would be the easiest way to do that would be to create a custom module called Sales Quotas. And all I did in here was to create the module. I connected it to contacts. So what I did, or what I had to do in order for this to work with the sales team, is I added an account for the company, okay? And then I added all my sales team as contacts to the account. So then when I've added new records in here, basically, I just pull up the company account and then I get all the contacts, and then I made one record per contact / sales rep. And then I just added the months, the 12 months of the year, and these are all just number fields with whole numbers in them, okay? And so whenever you need to change them, you would just come in and change them. Now, one of the other iterations you could possibly do here if you wanted to is you could add another custom field in here for year. So you could add 2019 as a year and then have all your sales quotas for 2019. Then you could add a new record for Bill for 2020 and then put in his sales quotas for 2020. And then when you build your report, you would just point to the right time filter, what year you want to pull in. So that's another thing you could do. Also notice that most of these numbers are pretty low, which I'm sure all of you would be like, oh my goodness. Don't pay attention to that. So that's the other preparation that I did is I created the custom module and then added the custom fields of the 12 months as number fields so that I could then add sales quotas for each of my people and connect it to a contact. All right, so that's our ahead of time preparation. Then we're going to go to Excel reports. And we're going to start a new report. And the first thing is I decide where I'm going to save it, what folder. And if you want to create a new folder, you can do that. And then you give your report a name. So let's say sales. So I'm just going to call it 2019 sales report, quota versus actual. All right. Then I can put a description in here if I wanted it. Then I save that. And then the first thing it's asking me for is, well, where is your data coming from? So your source sheet. So I'm going to choose the sales module. And then I'll just call the sheet in the workbook sales and save it. When you do that, then just like in the reports, it's asking you, well, what fields do you want to pull in? So this one is relatively simple in that I want to pull the account in. And I'm doing these in the order in which I want them. I could use the control key over here to click on multiple ones. And the contact wouldn't necessarily need to come in. I want the order number. Now notice you have order NO period and you have order number. This is an underneath number that ClaritySoft creates when you do a conversion to a sale. You want this order number, that's the word, okay? And we want the order date. And we want the month, which is a custom field down here. And we want the sale rep. And the last thing we want is the subtotal because we need to get amounts. So those are the fields that we want. Now you could pull in other things if you wanted to use this report to figure out what kind of sales results did you get, according to the lead source or a territory or anything else that you might have in here that would help you just analyze your data a little bit more, but we're keeping it simple, all right? Next thing is to sort the columns. I'm just going to sort them by the order date, and I don't care about a second sort. The filter criteria, I want everything that was an order date of 2019. So I could do this a couple of ways as well. I could say order date was last 1 year, which would go, it would be 2019 until we get to 2021, and then it becomes 2020 as last year. If I want to lock this in, because every time I run this report, even on into 2021, I always want it to come back to 2019, then I can do a solid date range. Most of the time we don't do this, but sometimes, especially for year-end type of reports that you want to lock in, you can use this date range and then do it. So I'm just going to kick back here to January, hit January 1st. Now I need to make sure, because it says 2020, I can take out the 2020 and type in 19. Okay, and then kick forward to December and hit December 31st. So I now have locked in the range of dates. Okay, but you could use whatever you want down here. You could do last quarter, whatever. And then if you wanted any other filters for some specific type of sale that you're pulling out, then you could use your standard filters over here. But I don't have anything else. So I'm going to save that. And my first source sheet is now set up. Then I want to add another source. So I come here to the new source button and I choose my sales quota. And then I'm going to call it sales quotas and save it. And then for this one, I want the contact person who is the sales rep, okay? And then I want all the months. Now notice down here, they're in alphabetical order, so I have to pick and choose these because I want them in normal order. So some of what you have to do in this is a bit tedious, but the result is pretty cool. And I'm sure those of you who build more complex Excel spreadsheets know that it takes some time. Where are we? September, October, November, December. Okay, so I have all my months. Then sort the columns, I can sort them by the contact name. I don't want to sort them by the month or I'll have the same scrambled mess I had before. And on this one, I don't need any filter criteria. Now, if you had added a year into that custom module, then you would want to add a filter criteria with the standard filter to say what year you're pulling in, okay? So now I have my two data sheets and I can go back. And just like before, collapse these here. They keep uncollapsing themselves. And here's my report. So what I want to do now is download the template. So here's my template. I enable the content. And just like last week or 2 weeks ago, the first sheet here is completely blank, which throws you off. But then I have my sales sheet with my columns, and it says some text data under it. And then I have my sales quota sheet with my columns. So this is exactly what I want. However, I don't have any data. So for trying to put in the kinds of formulas that we want to put in here, this would be darn near impossible to do. So we're going to go back to ClaritySoft here, and we're going to run the report. This will pull data from the database that will then give us some sample data to work with. So now I have this one open. Where is it going to open here? Okay. So again, the first sheet is blank, but here's my sales data that was pulled in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this data, copy it, go to my other workbook, and I'm going to paste it, whoops, underneath the sum text data. Whoops, what did I do? Did I lose it? There we go. So now we have some sample data there. Then we go to the sales quota sheet, and I go back to my other workbook and go to the sales quota sheet. If you guys are wondering how I'm doing that selection so fast, I'm using Control Shift and End. Control Shift End. That jumps you from the upper left corner of the spreadsheet to the lower right corner of the data, and it selects at the same time because you use Control and Shift. Oops. Okay, then Control C for copy. And then you click here and Control V for paste. All right, so now I have my sample data, so I can begin to build my template. So I'm going to go here, and then on another spreadsheet over here on my other monitor. Let's see here, I gotta move stuff out of the way, hold on. I'm shifting you guys to the side. I'm just doing this. Oops. Because it's already formatted. Okay, so I have a heading and I have my months in here. All right, so then what I want to do is pull the information from the quota sheet into this sheet here. So first of all, I want to come here. Now, I'm going to, this is going to be a bit weird. I'm going to copy my people, okay? And when I come back to here, I'm clicking so that in a sense, why is the copy not working? Okay. All right, guys. Copy. Paste. Okay. Guess we're going to have to use the old right click. Copy. Paste. Paste. Why is it not copying and pasting? Oh, for heaven's sakes. That makes no sense. Okay, well, we're going to type the names. We won't fight City Hall any longer. Don't know why that's not working. Okay. Sorry about having to type. Okay, so we've got our people. Now what we need to do is pull the information from this sheet into this sheet. So we're really just going to use an equal. So we're going to say this is equal to sales quota January. Now notice what I'm doing here. I'm clicking here, not at Bill Miller. This is what's going to throw you guys off, okay? But that sum text data actually, when we run the report, is going to become Bill Miller. So just bear with me here. Notice what it does is it does pull everybody in, and it's doing equal C3, C4, C5, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what you want it to do. And trust me, it will work right. Okay, so then what I can do here is I can select this and stretch it across through December, and it pulls all the numbers through. So if I look here, this is M4, okay? So that's pulling my numbers through. Then here, I can put in a sum formula to get a total across the month, or the year, I should say. And it's auto-populating, which I guess is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. So I'm going to do equals sum now. This one, notice, is not right. It pulled D10 in. So you have to pay attention to what it's doing here. There. Okay. So just watch your numbers and make sure they're working. And they're all kind of wonky because they have this sum text data value up here. Okay. All right, so that is built. And then what I could do is format this whatever way I want. These numbers are in decimal places. I don't really want that. So I can come up here and remove the decimal places and hit the commas. Oh, then it puts them back in. Okay, so I've removed my decimal places. If I wanted to take this row actually and format it to currency just so it looks different. Again, you can do all of that as you're working. So I now have my quota data pulling from my sales quota sheet. All right, that's the easy one. Okay, the next one we want to do is going to involve a formula. So let me copy this and hope that it works to copy and paste. Yeah, I don't know why the other one wasn't. Okay, and then this is going to be actual. All right, now here we're actually going to build a formula that's kind of complex. Some of you may be familiar with this and some of you may not. So let me go back to my PowerPoint here. And what we're going to build is a sum if s formula, where it adds the cells that are specified by a given set of conditions or criteria. So this is the formula that we will be building, all right? And this is where it's built in here. These are missing the dollar signs for absolute value. We have to add those in. But basically, you start, the first part of the formula is a range for the sum. Well, the sum is going to be of the subtotal. Okay, so that happens to be column H in this spreadsheet. Then the criteria range is the sale rep, which happens to be in column G. The criteria for the first range is the name of the salesperson, which is in that leftmost column, okay? Or no, right here, it's the contact. So it's going to be in that, it'll be in the column on the left in the other spreadsheet. Then the criteria range 2 is the month, okay? And that happens to be across the column headings on the spreadsheet. So that's what we're going to build, all right? Now let's go back. Oops, I want to go to Excel here. Where are we? I have too many Excel sheets open right now. Okay, so if you want to build this from scratch, which is probably what you need to do, you can come up here to your function, and then you can look up, if you go to the all formulas, you can look up the sum if s. I've already got it here. And then it starts me out with my sum range. So my sum range is going to be the sales sheet starting in row 3 and going down. Now, just like we talked about 2 weeks ago, I only have right now 143 rows of sales data. Well, you guys might have 1,000 or 5,000 for the whole year. So what you want to do is set a range that will accommodate however many rows you think you will have throughout the whole year. So you aren't going to go beyond it. And you can go down so far, and then you can come up here basically and type in what you want. So I'm going to just say I'm going to go to H250. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to do here, or we mess up, is this does not put this in absolute values. So you want to put your dollar signs in. And I know there's a key that you can hit to cycle through all of these, but it's been way too long for me to remember. Okay. So I've got my first thing in, and then my criteria range, that's my sum range. So my criteria range now is the sale rep, okay? And so that's going to be the sales sheet. And then I need to go back up to the top. And I'm going to select from here down. And what you want to do is just stop somewhere, and then you can make this one also to 50. So you're going to the same range, or 1,000 or 10,000, whatever works. Okay. And then we need the dollar signs again. All right. And then your criteria now is, well, where is the criteria? So our first one happens to be Bill, and he is at column B, row 17. All right. And this one, I think if I put a dollar sign here, but I don't put a dollar sign next to the 17, will work correctly. Then we go to our criteria range 2, which is our month. Okay, so that's going to be sales. And then scroll up. And I'm going to start in the month. Go down and change it to 250. And then go over and put my dollar signs in. Okay, and then the criteria for this, where the month is the column heading right here. Okay, so on this one, we want the column to change, but not the row. So we're going to put a dollar sign in front of the C to maintain the row as it gets copied, but we want it to shift to, we want the row to stay the same and the column to shift. Okay. All right. So then it gives me, that's my formula. So when I click OK, I should have it. Oh, doesn't like something. All right, what did we do wrong? Oh, no. I don't want to do that. Of course, when I do this now, all right, sum if sales. Oh, this got changed. How did I do that? H3 to H250, G3 to G250, B17. I think I got it now. There we go. Somehow I changed that to a B. Okay, so now if I copy this downward, it should work, but because it did go to B18 and it's still, but the C16 stayed. So that's right. This is B19, right? Yeah, these changed. So let's see what happens. We copy this over to here. Nope, we have all the same numbers, so something is not correct. So this is H3 to H250. So if in doubt what you do, folks, you go to your little cheat sheet. Where is it? And you copy it and you paste it. Now, this is coming up 0 because this needs to be B17. And this needs to be C16. Okay, now let's try it. Well, you know, it's always amazing how you do these things, you practice them about 4 million times, and then when you're in the webinar, it doesn't work. So, let's see here. H3 to H250. All these are right. They're the right columns. H3. Okay. G3 to G250. B17. And that's that. All right. And then F3 to C16. C16. D16. Okay. Well, I'm not sure what's happening here. Okay. Well, we'll proceed. The formulas look correct. So let me see here. Did suddenly this decide? I know I had problems with this a couple of weeks ago where because I had so many spreadsheets open, Excel got itself confused. And I'm thinking maybe that's what has happened again. So let's proceed with what we're doing and setting up the template, and then we'll run it. So let me go here to this. Apparently, this is a problem with Excel, that it gets its little brain confused if you have too many similar things open. And because I have the report with the data in it, I think this is the one that I want to close. Yes. Okay, so we'll see here. What I'm going to do now, we've got this saved. I can take this formula up here or not. Yeah, my Excel is completely locked up on me. Yeah, this is probably what's occurred. So, oh my gosh, this is very frustrating. All right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to here, and we are going to open my other template. Let's see if I'm back. Okay, I'm back in business now here, but I don't think this is working. So anyway, we've got the right formula. Let me do a save as. So I want to save this. Now here's what you have to watch too. When you download this, it's putting this in your downloads folder. So when you go to save your template, you don't want to just hit save. You want to do a save as and go figure out where to save it. Okay. See, it's in my downloads folder. That's not where I want it to be. So I'm going to go to where I want it to be. And I've got a folder set up that's all for my Excel reports. And I can save this. Okay. Oh, see, there it worked. Okay. It just was Excel was screwed up. All right. So we can continue. I can copy this, paste it, fill it down, copy this, which should be, oh, those aren't totals yet. So this is equal to the sum. And so it's maybe in a sense, it is a good thing this happens in the webinar, because if it happens to you, you know, oh, it happened to Susan. So it wasn't just me. Then copy this over here. Okay, so I've got my totals. That's not right. What is this? Sum of 17, 23. Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's not right, but we'll figure it out. Okay. So again, you would format your numbers, and I'm going to format these just because they're messy looking. And we've got this. Okay. What is this adding? O to O. That should be correct. All right. So the next step is we've got our numbers in here, but then we want to do it. We want to create a chart. So the next thing is to create a chart down here. So we're going to create a sale rep and then their quota versus their actual. Okay. And again, I can copy my sales rep down there. And then we're pulling the total from over here per sales rep. All right. So that's simply equal, click on this, press enter. And see, now it's not filling in. My Excel is all confused. I may jump to my other one just to show you how this works. So I'll show you the basics here, and then we'll flip to one that's already done. I'll do this chart. So we're basically just pulling the data through down below, or wherever you want to put it. You could put it on another sheet. If you want, you could add another sheet in the workbook. You could put it next to that. Again, whatever works. Okay, I'm losing my place here. Okay. So we get that. Then we do the same thing with actual. So we do equal this. We should be able to pull this down. They're all the same anyway. Okay, but that's 018, 019. Yeah, so that's pulled down. Okay, then I could format that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So to make my chart, I select my data, then go up here to insert, and I'm just going to click on recommended charts, choose this one. There's my chart, pull it in, can stretch it out to whatever size you want it to be, and then you can add different elements to the chart. So over here, you click on the plus sign and you can see your different data elements. We could add data labels, but they're kind of messy. You can see they overlap each other. So I prefer to do a data table instead underneath, and that's just a little cleaner look. So you can add whatever you want, and then your chart title, you can click and change your chart title to what you want it to be. So that would be 2019 sales, sale rep, quota versus actual. Oh, if I could type, we'd be in business, right? I say that every week. All right, so that's done. You can format that. So we've got the things in here the way we want them, and we could add another chart for a month, but I'm not going to take the time to do it in here because we want to actually run the report. So once I've got my template all done the way I want it, I'm going to turn off my grid lines. I have this wonky thing about not liking grid lines. Just looks cleaner. All right. So before I save this, what I want to do is go get rid of all that sample data. But leave that sum text data. Okay. And do the same thing here. Okay. And then I could rename my sheet if I want. So now I know I've already saved this to the folder where I want it, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go back up here and do a save as again and just double check that it's not going to where some other weird place. So it is going to my reports folder where I wanted it. So I'm going to save it, replace it. Then I can close it. So now I've completed the template, and the next step is to upload it. So I go to the report and I upload the template, which then that is right here. Okay. It will say save successfully. And now I can run the report and it will pull the data in from the two sources. Zoom thing is in the way. And there's my data. There's my chart. And my numbers are now working. So the spreadsheet was getting itself confused. Okay, so my whole thing is here. My data has pulled in my sales data, my sales quotas have pulled in, and all the information is here. All right. Now, here's the cool thing about this. If I go back to my quotas module and I change quotas for somebody, I'll close this report, not save it, but I'm going to go back to my sales quotas and I'm going to open Bill here. His are all 5,000 right now. I'm going to change the first couple of months to 3,000 just for jollies. Oops. Okay. So I'll do January, February, March, 3,000. Save and close. Then if I go back to my Excel reports and I run it, his quotas now for the first 3 months, January, February, March, should now be 3,000 instead of 5,000. There we go. January, February, March, 3,000. So the advantage to putting your quotas in the separate custom module makes it easier for you to run your report and make the changes so the report updates. You could build a fixed table in here. I have one sample where I did that, where this was just built into the template. It wasn't any kind of formulas. It wasn't pulling in any data. And that worked fine, because you still put this formula in down here, the sum if. But the difference is that if I wanted to change my quotas, I'd have to edit my template. So every time I want to change the quotas, I have got to go in and edit the template and download it, re-upload it, and all of that. Whereas now in the database, I can just go to the module and make the change. So that's there. Now I'm going to run one more of these that has the months in it, which is right here. So the difference here is, this is the same one we just did where you pulled the quota and the actual numbers from these columns over here per rep. This one is pulling the quota and the actual per month. So it's going across this way and pulling these values in. So that's the difference in the two charts, okay? But you can do that too. So this is just an equal C12. So the formula is there so you can see it. So that's, again, all of this is pulling the original data from these two sheets into here and then using the formula that we created and pulling it all together. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on some things that you could do in your own, with your own data, where, it might not be sales quota versus actual, but it could be something else. The point is that you can pull data from multiple modules and create multiple source sheets in ClaritySoft or in the Excel template. And then you can merge the data together onto a sheet and do whatever calculations you have, you want to do. I'm sure all of you can see that if you're a really good Excel person and you know your formulas in Excel, you probably have lots of ideas on how you can do different things. Those of you that might not be so skilled in Excel formulas may struggle a bit. But you can always try something, if you get stuck on something, give our tech support team a call and see if they can help you, or dig around on the internet and find things. But hopefully this gave you some ideas on what you can do to pull data in to the spreadsheet. And I know sometimes people have data in the accounts record that they don't have elsewhere, and they need to merge things together. So this is how you can do it. All right. Well, I think I've finished for the day. So let me jump back here. First of all, thanks for attending. We've had 2 huge groups for the Excel reports, so I'm assuming that they were very much needed. So thanks to all of you for attending. And if you do need some help, don't hesitate to call our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2 or email them at support@claritysoft.com. And then, as I say every week, if you have ideas for new topics, please email them to info@claritysoft.com. We like to do these webinars. I think most of the people that come to them find them useful. They all get recorded and placed online, so you have access to them at any time. And they do help you get started with a lot of the different things in the database. But if you have some cool ideas, please let us know. We're always looking to, do something more creative, more helpful, whatever. So let us know. Thank you for coming today. Hopefully you've learned some things and you've got some ideas you want to go back and try. Bye-bye.